Have you ever stood in a room full of stuff and felt emptier than ever? Surrounded by things you thought you needed, but somehow none of them make you feel at peace. That heavy feeling of chaos cloaked in comfort, where objects become distractions, and the noise of ownership buries the quiet voice inside you that craves clarity. This video isn't just another trend talk. This is about what happens when you strip everything down to the bone, when you live with almost nothing, and when the silence of your space starts revealing truths you've been too distracted to hear. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might challenge how you've been living your life. But it also might open a door you didn't know existed. Before we begin, if you're already feeling a shift in your mindset just from this introduction, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. And most importantly, check out the link in the pinned comment. There's a life-changing opportunity waiting for you there. One that could be your first real step toward transformation. When I first stumbled into extreme minimalism, it wasn't because I wanted to be trendy or make content about it. It was because I hit a wall, a loud, overwhelming wall of stress, overconsumption, and internal burnout. I didn't make a conscious decision to give up everything overnight, but slowly, as I removed one unnecessary thing, then another, I began to see something I hadn't noticed before. Space, stillness, awareness. And in that space, a different kind of wealth started to grow. It had nothing to do with money or possessions. It had to do with presence. At first, it's uncomfortable. Living with almost nothing pulls you out of the artificial comfort we're used to. You no longer have layers to hide behind. No piles of clothes to throw on when you feel insecure. No shiny gadgets to distract you from boredom. No backup plans in the form of excess. Just you. And at that point, you're forced to face yourself. Most people never get there. They stay busy rearranging furniture, buying new planners, switching apps, and blaming the wrong shoes for their dissatisfaction. But when you take it all away, all that's left is truth. And truth isn't always pretty, but it is freeing. Living with less teaches you quickly what really matters. I remember giving away almost everything I owned. At first I expected to feel lighter. What I didn't expect was the emotional whiplash that followed. Each item represented a story, a version of me I was letting go of. The expensive jacket I wore once, the bookshelf filled with unread wisdom, the stack of notebooks filled with dreams I never followed. When I started partying with them, I wasn't just decluttering a closet, I was letting go of identities I was never meant to carry. I cried, I hesitated, I doubted myself, but I kept going. You learn that convenience has a cost. When everything is within reach, we lose the edge of effort. Extreme minimalism forces you to get creative. You don't have 5 pans to choose from, so you learn to cook with one. You don't have endless outfits, so you start thinking less about appearance and more about who you're becoming. And here's the strange part. People around you start noticing something different. They can't quite name it, but they feel it. You seem calmer, sharper, more intentional. And it's not because of what you have. It's because of what you no longer need. The biggest myth about minimalism is that it's about stuff. It's not. It's about decisions. Every item gone is a decision made. Every empty shelf is a piece of mental clarity regained. And over time, those decisions compound into discipline. You stop scrolling mindlessly because your phone doesn't have the cluttered chaos it used to. You stop buying things impulsively because you've redefined what you value. You don't clean as often because there's simply less to clean. And suddenly, you find yourself with something you've always said you wanted: time. That's the currency of minimalism. Time, and attention, and freedom. The kind of freedom that doesn't come with a price tag or a delivery notification. I remember waking up in a room with just a mattress, a chair, and a small table. No decorations, no distractions. I thought I'd feel poor, but I felt powerful. There was nothing to do but focus. Nothing to manage but my own thoughts. And that scared me. Because when you strip life down, All the excuses disappear. You can't say you're too busy. You can't blame chaos. All that's left is you, your choices, and the truth you're willing to confront. People ask if it gets lonely. Sometimes, yes. But that loneliness isn't emptiness, it's depth. It's the kind of solitude that lets you hear your real voice for the first time. The voice that isn't shaped by ads or social approval. The voice that knows what matters. The voice that says no without guilt. The voice that isn't afraid of silence. That's the voice minimalism amplifies. And the best part is, it spills into everything. Your relationships get sharper. Your communication clearer. You don't waste words. You don't entertain drama. You become a person who knows what they're doing and why. People may not understand it at first. They may think you're extreme, or weird, or detached. But deep down, they'll sense what you've gained. Peace. And let's be honest. In a world that constantly screams for attention, peace is a radical achievement. Let's pause here for now. I'll continue in the second part with the deeper lessons I learned, the surprising side effects of living with almost nothing, and how you can apply some of these insights to your own life, even if you're not ready to go fully extreme. If this first part resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. And make sure to visit the pinned comment for a powerful opportunity that could help you begin this journey in your own way. What surprised me most about extreme minimalism wasn't how much I missed things, it was how quickly I forgot them. The shelves I once obsessed over arranging, the drawers stuffed with items I thought I couldn't live without, the gadgets I convinced myself I needed to be productive, all of it faded like background noise once it was gone. The mental space left behind became a kind of internal landscape I could finally explore. It was as if my mind had been waiting for the noise to stop so it could speak up. And what it said wasn't revolutionary or poetic, it was simple, clean, and honest. And sometimes, that's the most powerful thing you can hear. But let's not pretend it's all bliss. There are difficult days. Days where simplicity starts to feel like scarcity. Days when you question the whole idea. You might miss the feeling of newness, of constant stimulation, of variety for the sake of novelty. We live in a world that glorifies more, so to live with less can feel like you're swimming upstream. You'll see others showing off their hauls, their upgrades, their must-haves, and there you are, making coffee in the same mug you've used for years. That contrast can create doubt. But here's the thing, the longer you walk this path, the more you begin to see what others are still blind to. It's not about what you have, it's about what has you. In extreme minimalism, you reclaim your autonomy. You stop living for the next purchase, the next delivery, the next like. You're no longer held hostage by marketing or FOMO or curated perfection. You stop measuring your life by square footage or brand labels, and instead, you begin to ask better questions. Do I need this? What value does it bring? Am I buying this to solve a problem or to distract from one? You don't always have perfect answers, but the questions themselves become a form of and it changes everything. You begin to notice the texture of your days. You start seeing beauty in stillness, in repetition, in ritual. There's something oddly liberating about wearing the same outfit every day, not because you don't care, but because you've chosen to care about different things. It creates space in your brain that you didn't know was being occupied by trivial decisions. It makes room for creativity, for focus, for reflection, and you start showing up to your life differently. You're not scattered, you're not reactive, you're present, and presence, in today's world, is a superpower. I remember one moment that changed everything for me. I was sitting on the floor of my bare room, the kind of emptiness that echoed with every step, and I realized I wasn't waiting for anything. I wasn't waiting for the next delivery, or the next idea, or the next goal. I wasn't waiting to be fixed, or fulfilled, or rescued. I was just there, and I was enough. That moment didn't look impressive. no filters, no aesthetic value, but internally, it was massive. It was the realization that nothing external could give me what I already had access to within, and it took removing almost everything to find that out. Another thing you learn quickly when you embrace extreme minimalism is how emotional our relationship with stuff really is. We don't hoard objects, we hoard stories, identity, memory, aspiration. We keep the jeans we'll fit into someday, the books we'll read eventually, the gifts we didn't like but feel guilty getting rid of. Every drawer becomes a museum of who we were or wish we were. Letting go of those things isn't just a physical task, it's emotional work, but it's necessary work. Because those items weigh us down. They remind us of unfinished chapters and unresolved versions of ourselves. When you finally let them go, you're not just freeing up space, you're freeing up identity. And what fills that space is not lack, it's potential. Room to move, room to think, room to become. I never expected to find so much creativity in a minimalist life. But when you're not distracted by consumption, you start to notice what you're capable of. You write more, think deeper, speak more intentionally. Your energy isn't being drained by decision, fatigue, or visual noise. It's being channeled. Focus becomes your natural state. And you start building instead of buying. You start creating instead of consuming. One of the most underrated benefits of extreme minimalism is emotional regulation. Sounds odd, right? But when your environment is stripped of clutter, your mind has fewer cues to react to. There's less tension, fewer triggers, fewer distractions. You can hear your emotions more clearly and respond instead of react. You have space to breathe through anxiety instead of stuffing it into another drawer or another online cart. That emotional awareness begins to ripple into your habits, your conversations, your sense of self. And then, slowly, something even deeper begins to shift. You start redefining success. It's no longer about accumulation, status, or outward validation. It becomes about alignment. Does this align with who I want to become? Does this move me closer to peace, clarity, purpose? If the answer is no, it becomes easier and easier to let it go. Whether it's a relationship, a purchase, a social obligation, you gain the power to walk away because you know what it feels like to be enough without all the extras. That's a kind of confidence you can't buy. You have to unearth it. Some people hear extreme minimalism and imagine a cold, harsh, uncomfortable existence. But for me, it's been the opposite. It's been one of the most deeply human experiences I've ever had. It's allowed me to feel more joy in simple moments, to be more grateful for less, to love with less attachment, to show up without needing to impress. It's not about never buying anything again or sleeping on the floor forever. It's about making space for what matters and realizing that what matters was never all that complicated to begin with. So here's the truth: no one tells you extreme minimalism doesn't take anything from you. It gives you back everything you've been missing: time, focus, .com/clarity, depth, self-trust. And while it may not be the path for everyone, the lessons it holds are universal. You don't have to live with almost nothing to start asking better questions, to start letting go of things that no longer serve you, to start building a life that's aligned, not overloaded. If this video sparked something in you, if even a part of you feels called to explore what life could look like with less, then let this be the invitation. Subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this. Leave a comment below if this resonated with you. And most importantly, check out the link in the pinned comment. What you'll find there might be the beginning of your own journey, one that leads not just to less stuff, but to more of what truly matters.